everybody. As always, a few of you pop in right before my hand is done and I start to focus on the screen. So I miss Jane and Crystal, Elizabeth and Allie, Tracy, Jay. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I have to tell you, I'm an hour earlier. So I woke up this morning. Daisy she always wakes up at 6. Eric says she wakes up many more times than that, and they're going to be a thing this morning again. That's okay. We're just going to ignore them.
Can I come with something real quick?
You can come with something real quick.
Today's episode of Coffee Time brought to you by Daisy Sour Cream. I'm sour because she's going to be I'm going to say it. She's a shitbird today.
She's not.
She is.
She's not a shitbird. She's a sweet bird. Anyway, so she wakes up pretty much, I don't know what happens in the world, in the universe, or in her internal time clock, but 6 a.m. she's up and at 'em. So that's cool, which is fine. I don't mind getting up at 6. So this morning I get up, I'm groggy, I roll over, I look at my clock to see the time. I'm like, cool. I get up reluctantly, put on my little bedroom shoes, and I kind of, shuffle my way out to let Daisy out the front door or the back door so she can go to the bathroom. I come in, I get my coffee going, my normal routine, right? So it's all blurry-eyed. And then I'm making the coffee. I push the button to start brewing, and I'm like, why does it say 5 o'clock? And then I was like, but it's the coffee maker. And so a lot of times you accidentally push a button on the coffee maker, and it just changes the time. I'm like, oh, it just changed the time. And then I looked over at the refrigerator, because the refrigerator has the screen on it, and it says 5 o'clock. And I'm like, And I looked over at the oven. It says 5 o'clock. I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? It's not 6 o'clock yet. But now I'm up, right? Now I'm awake enough that I've made the coffee. It's percolating, like the senses are engaged. So yeah, so I'm up a little bit an hour earlier than I wanted to be or intended to be, but that's okay. Because, it's I kind of, I guess I won't say I like the morning time, but the dogs were okay this morning.
Jane has a question.
Jane has a question.
It's a question for me, but pop it up on the screen.
Jane, Eric, weren't you going? Oh, yep. Yes, Jane. So, you got it? Yeah. So if you were paying attention last week, we were supposed to be,
Jane.
Thanks, Jane, for the segue. We were supposed to be live at Schmetzer's Pub. This is at one of our listings here in Winter Garden, in Disney's backyard. Actually, everything was planned to go live there, but Eric was having some computer issues the past few days.
It was me. It's my fault. It is, and I'm sorry.
It's
but
okay.
I couldn't do it.
We couldn't do it. No, well, we had a lot going on, but thank you, Jane, for reminding us. So our plan, not a guarantee, but our plan is it will be there next Monday instead. Eric wanted to get out there ahead of time to test the signal, so that we didn't have any last minute oopsies, kind of like we did when we were out at the Palmer model with Landsea Homes out at Parkview at the Hills, where they neglected to tell us there was a firewall that prohibited us from being able to do what we needed to do. So before we kind of headed out there, we wanted to do some prep work. And honestly, there was a lot going on. Eric he was just running out of time, and the delay with the issue with the computer, it took away some important time that we needed to prep for it. So we'll try that again. Honestly, that makes us happy because we're like, I don't think anyone's going to even notice, but yeah, we're at home, which actually for me is great because that means I can I can be running back and forth, checking on if Eric
I was so happy.
I know. We're so bad.
We're going to try next week.
We are those lame people. Anyway, well, good morning to you. I'm in pink today. I don't know what happened. I'm just pink. It's not Valentine's Day, but so I have my pink shirt, which is fine. I did do my nails. They're not great, so don't look too close. But then I was like, well, let me just pull out the pink mug. And this is the last bit of the coffee. I had to reheat it because I woke up so early, the coffee maker automatically turned off after its 2-hour automatic timer. So anyway, so good morning. Cheers to everyone. I know it's like mid-morning or afternoon for some of you, but good morning, everybody. All right, if I missed you, welcome. We are here.
Did you put on the screen that Federico's anniversary song?
I'm not going, well, I didn't, but I am going to. Find it. It's back here. See, you asked me to do something. But yeah, Jim, it is your what did you say? Where is it? Here we are. 30th wedding anniversary tomorrow, and you're going to celebrate at the Grand Floridian. Who would have thought? right? Who would have thought? Well, I would have thought, because why not? That's what you guys do. That's why you moved here. But isn't that amazing? So congrats, guys. We're very, very happy. That's a big anniversary. What did we have?
I don't know. 31.
31, yeah. So, yeah, we're with you, right there with you. I know.
31 long years.
Okay.
I remember back in 1993. Sorry, I'm in a mood.
You are in a mood. He's in a mood. Anyway, so let's get going. We have lots to talk about. So yeah, so cheers to you. This is you've seen this coffee mug before. This one's nothing different. I've used it before. But anyway, I will have to tell you, in case you're seeing this monstrosity on my wrist here, let me show you. See if I can show you. Do you see that? Do you see the monstrosity? That's called a ganglion cyst. Do you see it? There you go. That's a better shot of it. Oh, there you go. That's nasty, right? Gross.
Wow, we went heavy.
We went heavy. Well, no, actually what happened was it's been difficult. Like, it's because it's so big. And by the way, I've been to a doctor. I went to the dermatologist months and months ago. And it's not a big deal. It just has to be removed, but they don't remove it. And I have this thing. I'm just going to take my glasses off for this. I'm going to get on my little soapbox. I'm just taking it off for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. No, the challenge is, like, when I was growing up, and even when I was having my kids, I felt like we had a doctor. Like, we had a doctor that was there for us, that would help take care of us or help guide us to the other doctor that could take care of us. Now it seems like nobody wants to take care of you, and they just make it so freaking difficult to schedule an appointment or to get an actual answer question by a human. So anyway, I finally got help, actually from a friend who was able to kind of help advise, who's a doctor, to help advise me where to go and what to do. So I do have an appointment. So if you've been noticing this the past a little bit, it's okay. I'm aware of it. But it does. I'm left-handed, and it hits my left hand, so it bothers me when I write, and the jewelry kind of bangs it. And so I just gave you a close-up shot of the coffee mug. So before you start sending me text messages like, "Lady, what's going on?" I'm cool. It's fine. When do we have? Well, I thought it was surgery was scheduled on the August 7th, but now I'm thinking it may just be the consult visit with the actual hand surgeon. So anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll go. Anyway, let's get to what's brewing, shall we? Eric is very anxious because he's like, Amy, shut up.
We have a lot.
Okay, fine. Yeah, actually, before we go, Geraint. Yeah, so I gotta find his thing. So this is what they call a Bible cyst, and because that is what they did.
Is that true?
No, like literally in the olden days, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they call it a Bible cyst because when people used to have them prior to modern medicine that we have, they would take the heaviest book they could find, the Bible, and they would smash it on there basically to disperse the fluid that's come up. It's kind of nasty and gross, but yes, Geraint, that's exactly
crazy.
That's exactly what they call it. So I have found this website. We're going back to what's brewing, I promise. It's not a website. I think it might be a Facebook page. Basically, it tells you all of the sayings that we say all the time, like don't let the cat out of the bag, don't spill the beans, things like that. And it tells you the actual, like, origin of that. Like, we say them, we know what they mean, but why? Well, it tells us the why. Anyway, let's move on to our brewing topics. Yes, Daisy, we see you, we hear you. Okay, so here we are. This is our brewing topics. Get ready. Yeah. Inspector Gadgets and the NAR Chaos. And I do mean chaos because we've got stuff to talk about when it comes to this in multiple topics. So the first part is get ready. So when we say get ready, we're going to do, I think, another little series on this, maybe a little bit diving in a little bit deeper. I have a whole listing book that I give to clients, not a book, but several pages worth of tips and tricks for getting your home prepped and ready to go on the market. And it's a lot more in-depth and more involved, but we want to give you a few that are important and the reason behind why these are very, very small, simple things that you can do in preparation to put your home on the market whenever that is, whether it's now or next month or next year or 5 years from now. Really important things. So this is what they are. So the first one is light bulbs. So please make sure, and first of all, I am guilty, right? I did just buy the new light bulbs the other day. Eric and I went to Lowe's and I got new light bulbs. But there was a couple of light bulbs like in the vanities that are above the our bathroom sinks, right? A couple of those have gone out. And when you don't change them and then you put your home on the market for sale, well, first of all, it shows that you don't care and you're not really taking care of your home, or it's too much of an inconvenience to get up there and change it. And in some cases, if you're elderly and it does require you to step on a ladder, you're not included in this conversation because safety is most important. But there might be a friend, family member, relative, son, grandson, daughter, somebody that might be able to come and change a few light bulbs. It is important to change them for two reasons. Number one, you want the home to be consistently light and bright, open and airy, and those light bulbs are going to make a big difference. The other thing is that when it comes to an inspection, and this happened on a client's inspection here recently, the inspector noticed quite a few light bulbs are out. Well, there's a limited capacity to what the inspector is going to be able to do, right? So they're not going to go changing light bulbs to see if that fixture works. But if your light bulb, it could just be that it's burned out. Well, if it's burned out, change it. And then that way, it's not going to show up in an inspection report as a potential problem that's going to give a buyer concern needlessly about the electrical aspects of the home. So first one is to change the light bulbs. If they need to be changed, replace them, make sure they're the same color. And this one, oh my gosh, this is a pet peeve of mine, and it's grating my nerves because we stood at Lowe's the other day. I love our lights nice and bright. Like, I don't like the bluish tint. I don't like the soft, like dim, homey. Like, I like bold and bright, mostly because my eyes are bad, and so I just need to see. But we went and I asked Eric, I was like, do you think ours are, what was it called, Refresh? And something else, some of the LED light bulbs. Anyways, So the ones I got are not the same as the other ones. So I'm like, dadgummit. So right now in our vanity, we've got six light bulbs. Sorry.
Dadgummit.
6 light bulbs, and 2 of them that I replaced are not the same color. It's driving me bonkers. So, but rest assured, if I were, if I were putting my home on the market, which I'm not, but if I was, I'd let you know because somebody could buy it. Then, you want to make sure that the lights are all the same and that we eliminate the possibility of someone being concerned about a needless inspection issue. Yes, I did just reach for my glasses that are not on my head. All right, number 2, use caulk to seal up the windows, sinks, tubs, and showers. Okay, this is really easy. And it's another thing to help you during the inspection process. First of all, guys, if you own a home, it really is important that you take care of it. If you skinned your knee or if you cut your finger, you're going to put a Band-Aid on it, make sure that it heals up properly to make sure it doesn't get worse, right? So you have to do the same thing with your home. And when you see that caulk or grout, thank you, dear, caulk or grout, can you give me one of the 3M ones? I don't know where I put them. Sorry if you don't see them. It's okay. But so Eric handed me this. So when we went to Lowe's the other day to get the light bulbs, I grabbed a couple of just things of caulk. You can get silicone caulk if that's what you need in your showers or tubs. Look and see what you have. But here's the thing, go around the windowsills. I had a client, we just sold the home, they just closed on it, but I mentioned it to her. I was like, hey, just so you know, and that front, excuse me, the front office, I got it, I'm good. The front office window, there was just a crack between the windowsill and the inside of the window frame. There's nothing wrong with it, except that it's now cracked because the way your house settles. So before that becomes something on the inspection list that becomes a much bigger deal or concern than it actually is, go around your house, look at all of your windowsills, make sure that they're sealed, take a look at all of your bathrooms, tubs, and showers. Make sure where the backsplash is or where the tub is or any of that or the tile, does it need to be caulked? Is it something that you're able to do yourself? If not, find a handyman that can do it and do a really nice job of it. Don't make it look crappy, but get that done. So that's number 2.
I'm gonna jump in just real quick to say,
jump in.
And this is not gonna make you happy, but everyone knows that I'm 12. Everyone knows.
So why remind us then? Why?
Because we're in Lowe's and you yelled over, I need caulk. I'm saying caulk. Just because that's what it was. And I'm 12 and it was very difficult for me to not say anything. So I thought I'd say it in front of all our friends instead.
I didn't yell it. I did not yell a thing. He's 12. He's 12. All right. Now you just took me off my screen. I need it. All right. That's okay. Number 3, AC maintenance and filter changes. Okay. So guys, do yourself a huge favor. Seriously, if you take nothing away from anything I've ever said, let it be this. Before you put your home on the market, especially if you live here in Florida, go ahead and have your AC system serviced. or maintenance. Now, if you are smart and you do what we tell you to do, so for instance, when you buy a brand new construction home, in most every case, if you call the number that is on site, like you open up your closet with your AC unit, there's a sticker on it that tells you who did the installation. And there's usually a thing, call within 30 days. If you call that company within 30 days, they will extend the warranty from the typical warranty up substantially, whether it's another 5 years, another 7 years, whatever it is. Take advantage of that. But that still means you have to do your due diligence and do the service and the maintenance of it, changing the filters and irrigation lines, condensation lines rather, every month. But if you ask that same company, hey, what is the service program? Almost every AC company or HVAC company is going to have a program where you can come, they'll come out twice a year and they will service it for you. And then you know that it's getting real good professional hands and eyes on that unit. And that really is important, especially here in Florida where our AC unit is running the majority of the time 24/7. It is just constantly going and going and going. So do yourself a favor. Get the company, whether you already have a maintenance program, ask them maybe if they can come out earlier in preparation, like they usually come out twice a year, but depending on when you last had it done, have them come take a look at it, make sure that they do a good tune-up and a good flushing of the system so that that unit looks really good when you have your inspection. Because almost every inspection report is going to say something like, suspected mold growth in the AC handler. That is normal. Well, I won't say it's normal, but it is very, very, very common here. And if you have someone come do that maintenance in preparation for that inspection, it's likely to just help things along so that, again, there's not unnecessary concern from the buyer's perspective that unit has not been maintained or that there has been a buildup. And goodness gracious, if you do nothing else, change the filter, because people come in and they don't change the filter. Well, what does that tell you? It tells you that nobody's been maintaining that unit. It's a big mechanical element of the home. It's expensive to replace. So do your due diligence and just make sure. That's a really good one. All right, the fourth one is to target your curb appeal. Sorry, I'm squinting a little bit. Target your curb appeal. I'm going to take my own advice because we have attempted a few times out front to get some additional planters and to put some pretty plants in them. And they last a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month on a good day. We are not good with that. And we try that because the flower beds are different. We don't actually have any flowers in the flower beds. We've got the palm trees and some shrubs and things. But I need to do a cleanup, tune-up in our front. You need to do the same thing. Double check your curb appeal. Just make sure that your flower beds are neat and tidy. If you need to refresh the mulch, if you need to do some weeding, if you need to get a company out there for a one-time, hey, can you just give us a quick tune-up in our yard? Give it a good mow, good edging, good weed whacking. Make sure that the borders look crisp. Maybe put out a few bags of mulch or whatever surface you end up having, and then maybe a couple of fresh plants. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference because every time you walk up to home and you see that kind of has not been kept up, again, it does a subconscious thing into the buyer's mind. All right, the last one is the rule of a half. Now, this is candidly my rule. It's my rule because of the way I live, now for you, if you live very sparsely and you can look at your kitchen counter, like all of you, wherever you are, look at a bookshelf near you, look at a counter near you, look at a dresser near you, wherever you are in your home or at work, doesn't matter. Look at a surface near you, and is it jam-packed with stuff? Then you're probably like me and we need to reduce that by half. If you live sparsely and you're like, well, yeah, I'm looking at my counter over there. It's a really long, like 8-foot counter and there's like just a toaster on it. Okay, well then I want to be you, but I'm not you. My rule of half is to take whatever surface you can find, bookshelves, counters in the kitchen, anything that is open, closets, because that is something that people are going to go into when they look at your home. Remove half of what is in there. If you're going to take it with you to your new place, great, go ahead and start packing it up. You're just you're being proactive about that. But you're allowing the home to breathe a little bit, and you're allowing a potential buyer's eye to wander and to see the possibility of all the abundance of space in the home and not be sidetracked with the cute collection of teacups that you have proudly displayed over there on the counter. They're beautiful. They're fantastic, but they'd probably rather see that there's so much space. So anyway, so those are just 5 little tips in preparation for listing your home. Again, we have a whole deep dive. I say deep dive a lot, but we have a whole deep dive into it being very, very, very specific. But that should at least get you started. Yes, Daisy. Daisy's ready to come back in now. So going back to our number 2 topic for today. By the way, I'm curious, as we're kind of saying this. So those of you that are watching, did any of you actually look at a surface near you? Like, be honest. Did you look at a surface near you? And did you determine if I had to remove half, what that might be? Because honestly, I think and that sometimes is a good way to think when you're purging stuff anyway. I say that as having just done my closet and Eric's closet, we purged a tremendous amount. I did a great job, but it's very frustrating because as my weight fluctuates, the wardrobe fluctuates and the tears fluctuate. But it is so good to be able to remove that and go, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff I have that I didn't even know I had because candidly it was buried underneath something else in the closet. So yeah, try to think about half, and that will make a big difference. And you can really go into your drawers as well, not your panties. You can go into your kitchen drawers. Here's something that, and I promise I'm gonna get back on topic. It was, I don't know what it was. It came across something the other day when I was scrolling for something. I don't remember, but they said, and this is something I think Eric and I are going to have to kind of come to terms with. I keep buying and doing as though I still have 4 children that live in the home. And if I go to Costco, I'm getting this stuff and I'm like, who's eating it?
Fact check.
No
True.
one's right. No, but I mean, seriously, no one's here. And when I buy dishes, it's like, well, I need to have enough dishes on those 2 times a year that we've got, the whole family here. But we have to adjust the way we live. And it's really sad. So I don't really want to come to terms with that, really. But if you tend to find yourself kind of in that same thing, the removing and reducing by half is helpful. So,
okay, and on that note, Lisa had a question that actually speaks to that before you go to the next thing.
Is it the one about the furniture? Oh, yeah. Lisa, would you remove furniture as well to make rooms appear larger? Okay, so if we're going to go into the deeper dive. So Lisa, this is what I tell my clients. It doesn't mean that you have to have the home completely empty and vacant, but absolutely remove things that are just placed unnecessarily. Like, for instance, I love to have open corners in houses and clear pathways. If you've got 3 tables in your hallway entry foyer, you probably don't need 3. Okay, get 2 of them out of there. Keep 1 of them. Let that hallway breathe. If you've got a family room, and this is actually clients that we had, and they didn't remove it, and I wish they had, but all I can do is ask and suggest. It's your home, it's your thing. But they had 2 sofas, like a sectional. Then they had like a recliner that was a little bit worn and beaten up, as recliners should be, by the way. And then they had a couple of unnecessary little side tables that were all nestled around. You know who I'm talking about, Eric? And we're like, if you could remove the recliner, but see, that's their important chair, right? So I get it that they didn't want to, but remove the recliner and 3 of those other tables that were just kind of in the way.
I know you're talking about the Bunker family, Archie Bunker.
Yes.
Yes. That's the family you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yes. So, and it's okay that they didn't want to remove that, but it would have made a huge difference in their scenarios. So back to you though, Lisa, take a look in your home. Is it a piece of furniture that accentuates the space? Don't remove something that matters because of the piece of artwork that's above it. Then don't leave things looking naked or missing. But if there's, definitely make sure you have clear pathways. And my pet peeve is jumbled up corners of rooms. Try to keep them open so that it's not just a jumbled mess of stuff that you toss. Anyway, that's a good one, Lisa. Okay, and so are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the next brewing topic then is inspector gadgets. So really what we're talking about here are inspections and when you should have one, if you should have one, why you should have one. So first of all, if I go back to the conversation we were just having about prepping your home for a listing, depending on your situation and your home, you might consider having a pre-listing inspection And this is, you're going to get mixed conversations. We've talked about this before, but I won't go into the depth of that unless you need me to. But the main thing is you can have an inspection done prior to listing your home. You're then going to have to disclose anything that you found, so you may want to consider that. But if you have a home that may have some issues, much better to be proactive than reactive, because it's going to show up on the inspection report from the buyers. So from the buyer's perspective, yes, you're going to have an inspection done on the home unless you decide not to. And there's not going to be a realtor out there that is going to advise you not to have an inspection unless you sign, hello, they're playing under my feet, to advise you not to have an inspection unless you, unless you're going to sign a waiver that basically holds everybody harmless, because the last thing you want is to, to not have an inspection. And then all of a sudden, you're into the home a week and there's an issue. And then, you yell at the realtor and the realtor's like, you signed this waiver. I told you to get an inspection done and you opted not to. So, but also with new construction, pardon me, with new construction, I am leaning more and more and more. And this is what I think when you are a true and honest, sorry, I'm playing with the dogs down here with my feet. Girls, hey, you can stop that. If you are a good and honest person, you can change your ways as more information and experience comes your way. So I have always been of the mindset that, well, first of all, I still 100% without a doubt get a home inspection done on month 10 or 11 after you have closed on your new construction home. Get that inspection report, understand what is and is not going to be covered underneath that builder's 1-year warranty, and then file those findings with the builder. You cannot, however, in most cases, you cannot submit, hey, here's the inspection report that CFBI did for us. The builders don't like that, so you do have to kind of enter it in, handwritten, which is, to me, is stupid, and it's a frustration of builders, because I'm like, well, if you don't value your own work, and if you're not going to stand behind what you did 10 months later, then maybe we shouldn't have bought with you in the first place. So if you're a builder out there and you're paying attention, pay attention to your warranties and don't give people like a hard time. But so inspections can be done at any time. Now, this is where I was going with this. If you live in a home and you don't plan on selling your home, you're like, Amy, I'm fine. We've lived here like 10 years. I love my house. We're not going anywhere. We just love to watch you and Eric bicker online, whatever. It's fine. You can still have a home inspection done. There are companies, look for home inspectors near me on Google, and you will have a list of inspectors, or reach out to a realtor friend that you might have and say, hey, do you have somebody that does inspections for you? Because you don't have to be buying or selling a home to have a home inspection done. I have learned now that having an inspection done periodically is good. It's good, responsible home ownership, so that you can be aware of problems that may be presenting themselves in areas of the home that you're not looking at. You're not walking around your house with a moisture reader to find out that there's a leak behind one of your windows that you didn't know, and now there's mold all down the wall, or that there's roof tiles missing, or that there's shingles missing, or that there is, mold up in the AC ducts. Those aren't things that you're necessarily going to notice on a day-to-day basis. So in my opinion, home inspections, varying between, $300 to $700 on average, depending on the square footage of your home, is well worth the investment to have that done every once in a while. So inspections, they're important. Do them. And if you need advice on who, ask a local realtor, because they probably have a list of companies that they use all the time that they trust. Were you getting ready to chime in?
Yeah, I have a production note.
Go
to your next screen in a minute.
Yeah.
And then just touch on what we're going to talk about next week. The next thing is too complicated to talk about now, because I really want you to get to the scoop.
I know.
So just touch on the one thing that's what we're going to talk about, and then get on to the scoop, because that's what I'm excited about.
Okay, but only 9:30. Okay. All right. So here's the third topic. The third topic is NAR, the National Association of Realtors Chaos. What the flippity flip is going on?
Language.
I know. It's because I've been up since 5, so I'm already on to this is like daytime. This is daytime entertainment now.
We apologize for Amy's language of flippity flip and gosh darn it earlier.
Gosh darn it. I know. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so I guess Eric wants to touch on this, but we'll go a little bit more in depth next week.
Yeah, it's for now.
Okay. So part of what we'll talk about are the new buyer agent agreements. These things are going to be taking place in August. However, here in, is it in our area or was it our brokerage? our area, that's starting this August 6th as opposed to the 17th, which is when everything goes into effect, which means that we have to do some of the seller contributions of lock boxes. Absolute chaos. I want to pull my hair out, but I'm not gonna, but we're gonna talk about it next week, and I'm gonna have a great therapy session with you. So join in for that because I could use some free therapy.
Often you think the people in charge are smart and know what they're doing.
No.
At every step, it's just the dumbest thing ever.
It's
the lockboxes thing. Mention what the lockbox thing is.
Yeah. So do we have one floating around anywhere? So we use here currently, we use something called a Supra E-Key, a Supra iBox. And this is what it is. It's this, it's heavy, this heavy blue, like safe like thing that we attach to your door. It's operated by Bluetooth, by an app that the realtors have on their phone that you can only get when you are a realtor that is licensed in good standing with the association. You pay for these lock boxes, by the way, and it is like a safe. This can only be opened and unlatched by me, by the person who has the app, and this is the lock box that holds a key that will help a realtor access the home.
Gee, Amy, that seems like a really good system.
It's a great freaking system. I love these. They're fine. And we have a crap ton of them. My language again. We
apologize for Amy's language.
We have a plethora of these blue Super iBoxes. But for some reason, right in the middle of the other chaos, now our association has decided to switch lock boxes on us, meaning that
right in the middle of all the rest of
all of this stuff. So if I have lock boxes like this, I have to retrieve them, go somewhere completely inconvenient on days that are not convenient for me to swap them, learn how to operate these new lock boxes, and then reapply them and register them to listings. It's driving me freaking insane. So when you think realtors have it easy and we just do nothing but sit around the pool all day,
we'll talk about that in a minute.
There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that is making our job more and more difficult and honestly unnecessarily frustrating. So
but Amy,
we'll dive deep. But right now, we're gonna go. Where is it? Hold on, I can't find it.
Just hit scoop.
Scoop. Okay, you've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this. This is one of the most exciting announcements other than our girls being pregnant and having the grandbabies. We are so excited to finally share it with you. We had to wait. We kept putting it off, and then we didn't want to do it last week because it was Elizabeth's birthday. So we are excited to announce that Alyssa Kidwell Lim is author, A.K. Lim, and Kingfisher is her first novel. And what do you want to push the next one?
The next button is the pitch.
The next one.
So she wrote a book.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah. So, look at Allie's like, oh gosh, LOL. Yeah, Allie, don't worry, baby. You're our topic today. We are so stinking proud. So first of all, before I hit the pitch part of it, I just want to tell you something first, okay? And then I'm going to go on. Eric gets mad because I go off topic, but it's not off topic. This is fine. So
I don't care. You're talking about one of my favorite people in the whole world.
I know. So Alyssa has always loved to read and write. Like she was the child who, when summer was happening, she could not wait to go to Barnes & Noble, grab a handful of books, go home and read them. And this continued all the way through school, all the time. Loved to read and write. When she was in preschool, when they did their little preschool graduation, the teachers would give them these little awards that were kind of significant to them and their personalities throughout the year. And Alyssa's award was Weaver of Tall Tales, which is funny now thinking back on it. As parents were like, what is she, just like a big liar? Like, what's going on? No, she was a Weaver of Tall Tales. And then there was a time when she was in high school and there was a creative writing class. Again, she has continued to read and write and just dove into this all the time. She was telling me the other day she used to write stories. She would take Eric's old computer. She said, I didn't know this, honey. I don't know if you know it. She would take your old soccer computer and go upstairs and write stories about fairies. So she's always loved to do this, right? And she's always had quite a gift, if you ask me. But I'm her mom.
You ask anybody.
If I ask anybody. But anyway, so she was in high school, creative writing class, and part of their assignments were to constantly write stories. Of course, right? And so they would submit their stories anonymously, right? So the only one that knew who wrote the story was the teacher. But all of that was redacted from the story itself. They were all typed. They were all reviewed and judged on the peers. So it was peer reviewed and anonymously submitted. Well, Alyssa kept winning, like every time she would win the contest, like every time. So much so that creative writing teacher, and if you're a teacher out there, you're going to feel the mama like frustration. The creative writing teacher actually told her to stop submitting to give someone else a chance to win. So that's when Mama Bear comes out. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all of that, except that story turned out fine. But there was another teacher, and I'll go ahead and say his name because he's not watching. Even if it was, he'd be great. His name was Mr. Haig. And I don't know, Allie, what was he? Was he your sociology teacher or history teacher? But at any rate, so in high school, she writes an essay for class. He's handing them back out, and he stops. He gives Alyssa hers, and he says, "Let me know when you're a published author." So, my friends, that has led us up to where we are. Again, this was a book, or is a book that Alyssa has been working on among many, but this is one that has really been a dream of hers and a long time commitment. Those people who think that writers do not work full time have no idea the time and the painstaking effort that she has taken to get it to where it is. So this was the pitch. So if you want to take a little snapshot of this is an Allie, you tell us. I want to make sure I do that. Allie says it was world history, and then she also had him for sociology. Cool. So she wrote this story, and right before she went to the hospital to have her baby, she had made, and again, Allie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, she kind of had a goal in mind for her own timing. So she submitted, I guess they call them queries. You send out your pitch. And she did a few of these. I think she said only seven. And like people send out like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of these. She sent out 7 right before she went to the hospital to have the baby. While she's in the hospital room, she's getting messages from some of these agents back requesting the full story or requesting more of the chapters. There's a process that goes with being a published author for an agent to take you on. And so this was the pitch. You didn't want me to read this though, right?
No, they can read it on screen.
This is
what I think people should see and hear is the very first page of the book as an example, because
I was getting
my gosh. I think this shows why. So when you send that pitch out, you send them just a short version.
Yeah.
So we thought we would share with you the first page of the book.
Yeah.
Because it is quite something.
It is quite something. Are you ready?
The baker's boy needed a stepladder to reach his noose. It wobbled as he climbed the first step, then nearly toppled when he mounted the second. Wooden legs shook in time with the quiver of his knees, bruised blue, and covered in all manner of scum from the dungeons. On either side of him stood his parents, each with a matching cut of dangling rope. One for mother, another for father, a grim family portrait. Beneath her crimson veil, Amahara Mengal's vision of that portrait was already coated in blood.
Okay, so there's obviously more there. We wanted to give you a little snippet to pique your interest. So Tracy, no, sweetheart, not self-published. That's our point. She has a literary agent that snatched her and her book up.
She's out trying to sell it.
She is, she's out trying to sell it. There's a few edits, I think. I think the edits are the next part, but there's very little of that going on. So, and Allie, I don't know if we're allowed to say her name, but I can say her first name is Emily. That's the agent with, is it Bookends Publishing? I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But yeah, Allie, if you want to give them kind of an overview, or Eric, if you want to give a more accurate, it's a YA fantasy.
So young adult fantasy, very, castles and court and things. And, when she sent, we couldn't get her to send us the flipping book.
No.
But then when she did, and you read that, like, I love that first page, because the first sentence of the thing, I'm like, oh yeah, you got me. I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good. And I mean, we're parents, so of course we're going to love it. I'm not a young adult, not even by any stretch. So it's written in that sort of, genre. So,
yeah.
Allie, you're pretty good at this.
Yeah,
so
she's
we're very proud of you. So
she's-
we'll have more to come. And I'm not sure I gave you a button for her Substack thing, but if people, I'll come over and put it up.
Okay. Cool.
But if you want to follow along, she has what's called a Substack, which is like a blog through the process. So I'll come over and put that up.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just really, really, really proud of her. And it was one of those things where it was funny because she has a group of other, there you go. There's a group of other writers that, that she communicates with, and they are there to support each other. Right. And because they're all doing the same thing. And, she was so cute because she's like, I'm a little embarrassed to tell them I only submitted 7 queries and to have received an agent out of 7. And they were all great and positive, but this one agent, I love what she said, and I hope I get the words right, but she goes, I loved your book. She goes, it was edge of the bed, fist pumping, kicking my legs up in the air. Absolutely love this book. She sees great things with it. So yeah, Tracy's like, be ready for a movie option too. Maybe we're not going to go and jump ahead of ourselves, but the point is the agent has some wonderful, wonderful ideas and visions. And my daughter's a pretty gifted writer.
And it reads like something that
it does read like something that you might see at some point in time. So mostly we're just super excited, very, very proud of her. And thank you guys for letting us brag a little bit and being a part of our family. It
ain't bragging. We showed y'all. It's good stuff.
And to that creative writing teacher who told her to stop submitting, shame on you.
Flippity flip.
Flippity flip on you.
Mamma jamma.
Right. And to Coach Haig, who said, let me know when you're a published author. Get ready. So anyway, we're super proud of her. Okay, so let's get back to some real estate stuff. Allie, we love you so much.
Go to the market.
Go to the market. Go to the market. What am I going to get at the market? 3 eggs. All right. Market. Where's the market? There it is. I see it. Oh, stop it.
Same place as every week.
No, it's not. Things change around. He's seriously working my everlast nerve. I've been awake since 5. So, all right. Anyway, flippity flip. All right. So this is the market update for this week. So again, if you look at last week compared to this week, we're down a day, 34 days absorption rate. We had 160 active last week, only 147 active this week. We had 49 canceled, 47 canceled, closed 137, closed 131. So in some ways, kind of same. We had 150 pending last week, 146 pending. So you can just kind of see go ahead.
Just you can see that what's happening is, other than you hacking up along, the other thing that's happening, flip. The other thing that's happening is it's like there are fewer that are pending, but there's also fewer that are coming on the market. So it's not really that things are getting faster with those days coming down a little bit. It's that both sides of it are slowing down a little bit because it's summer and that's what's going to happen. I think, when do you think, so we know we get to holidays, it's slow anyway, but there's a little bump here in the fall, right? That we will expect, and certainly interest rates might affect that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. Real quick, Kim says, how about some signed copies for us coffee timers? I'm sure we can arrange that.
Oh, yeah.
Diz Deb says, Amy and Eric, our pool dig happened last week. Super excited to see that hole in the ground. I know. Get ready for the dirt. And now I'm going to go up to B Lightyear. Because this is a great real estate question, and I definitely want to address this for you. Why do all of the real estate agents love Trinity Family Builders, Hanover, when they stuck over 400 families they had under contract with Landsea without any notice and then came back 2 years later under Trinity Family Builders? Okay, so first of all, I do not work for or represent the builder, so whatever I say is my understanding. I don't necessarily, have the inside scoop on everything, but I have a lot of history with this builder. And this builder is a local builder here in the area. This is not one of the national builders that you're going to see out there like D.R. Horton or Taylor Morrison or K-Hob. It's a local Florida builder. It's also a multi-generational builder, meaning you've got the grandfathers and the fathers out there with the land acquisition, the sons and the grandsons out there doing the actual development aspect of it, or something like that. They have always been a builder that I have followed with where are they going, because they are so smart with where they are going in preparation of everybody else following them. For instance, Ardmore Reserve out in Mineola, before anyone ever heard of Mineola or knew what it was, or any other builder was out there, or any future development or exit off the turnpike, they were there as Hanover Family Builders at the time. So, and remember, I built actually with Royal Oak Homes. So they've changed names a couple times. That's not out of the realm of normalcy when it comes to smaller businesses like that. So I completely understand and can empathize with the frustration of families that that signed a contract with Hanover Family Builders, and then ultimately it was closed by Landsea. But keep in mind, those families were being built Hanover Family floor plans. And in most cases, it was still Hanover Family sales associates that were working at those communities. And in most cases, it was still some of the same builders. Now, builders flip on every builder all the time. Like anybody building a home may end up with 2 or 3 different physical like names that they reach out to, not broad names like Trinity or Hanover. But as far as why we like them, I mean, I understand the frustration there. And if anything went wrong, I'm sure that's not their intent at all, any way, shape, or form. But they were acquired by Landsea, which ultimately I think was a business move, right? If you've got a huge, wonderful thing happening and you're going to sell either your business or sell your land or sell your sections to a company that wants to take them over. I mean, if it's a business decision, I'm not going to fault anybody for that. And they're coming back a couple years later as Trinity Family Builders is always part of their plan. They love what they do. And if you notice, this is a builder that builds homes. Trinity Family Builders, nor Royal Oak, nor Hanover Family Builders had their own mortgage section underneath that same corporate umbrella. They did not have their own homeowners insurance company under the same umbrella. They did not have their own title company under the same corporate umbrella. Their goal is to build you a home, to build you a place of shelter and that's, I mean, I think that's the purpose for all the builders out there, but it's the smaller builders like this that I think we as realtors, when we care so much about our clients and finding them a home, we feel a connection to a builder who feels the same. I think that's all I'll have to say about that.
And I don't know this to be the case, but the timing of both of those things, when they went from Royal Oak to Hanover Family, and when they went from Hanover Family and sold to Landsea and then came back, it usually was like a 2-year period. And in business deals like that, there's usually a non-compete.
Right, exactly.
Meaning they're not allowed to be in business until then. Mm-hmm. So they waited the 2 years and now they came back in business. And, who knows, maybe it'll happen again, because they do tend to be smart and they do tend to have properties that the bigger builders find attractive. And it's hard to buy land. So sometimes I think these big builders are like, let's do that. And Landsea used their acquisition to get into this market. They weren't really here very much. Right. So I think they saw that as a way. They're more West Coast based. I think they saw that acquisition as a way to get here. I don't have any details of it, but I bet they threw a gob of money at them to get it.
Right. So. And I mean, again, I don't fault anybody for that. And even, there was one little blurb in between when it was Royal Oak. Royal Oak merged with another builder, AV Homes. And again, I do not work for, represent, or speak for this builder in any way, shape, or form. This is my knowledge and experience with them along the way. To my understanding, that little merger didn't really go according to plan because, to my understanding, Trinity Family Builders at the time, Royal Oak Homes, very, very customer based. And the other builder, when they merged, did not have the same priorities, I guess we should say. And so ultimately that didn't work out, because when you change your core values and you merge with someone who doesn't share them, then perhaps it's time to not be a part of that anymore. So they stopped that, and it was the same thing. 2 years later, they came back as Hanover Family Builders. And so anyway, I mean, that happens with builders. And yes, it may not happen with D.R. Horton. It may not happen with K. Hovnanian or Taylor Morrison, these big national builders. But when you have the smaller companies, that definitely happens. And I'm sure they would not want to hear that people were upset. But that does happen from time to time.
Amy, I'm standing on the other side of the counter where I have 4 different items of breaking news.
4?
Yeah, Dawson's at the gate. Our son, we'll tell you where Dawson is in a minute.
Yes.
But
okay.
Dawson's at the gate.
Yes.
I just want to let you know because I knew you'd want to know. Mm-hmm. So he's good to go.
Great.
Breaking news number 2. I have to get glasses.
Yes, well, we're going tomorrow.
I know. Sure.
Yeah, we're going tomorrow.
I might let everyone decide next week. Maybe I'll go to one of those sites and get different things. I'm really upset about getting glasses. Number 3, You mentioned this before. We're live next week at the thing, right?
Yes, that's our plan.
This for me is the big breaking news, Amy.
Okay.
The Sunday drive that we posted yesterday was the last Sunday drive that we'll ever do.
Stop crying, everybody. It's okay. Did you hear the gasp across the nation?
Yeah, but don't worry. It's not the last time we're going to do that kind of video.
Yeah, I know.
We're just going to stop. We're going to stop posting them on Sundays. So we may have a poll next week of what we should change it to. Either driving Disney's backyard or driving Miss Amy. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we tend to choose the worst possible times to post videos and do live streams. Monday at 9 a.m.
The worst.
This is the worst possible time, but it's when we like to do it. We like to hang out with you guys. But then the Sunday drive, it's just no one's really on YouTube Sunday at noon when we've been posting those. And candidly, the only reason we called it Sunday Drive was because I like the name. So,
no, that's not true.
But I know how I produced the thing. I was like, the name Sunday Drive is really good. And so then I was like, then I'll post it on Sunday. And that was silly. So we've done like 100 of those things. They take forever to edit. It'll also help my life because right now the way my life works is pretty much on Saturday, I spend the whole day editing the Sunday Drive. Then I spend all day on Sunday getting ready for coffee time. And so if we move it to a different time of the week, then I get to have a Saturday someday. So, Amy, that's the news from the other side of the counter. What?
Okay. So what next then? Now that we did your breaking news.
Do your cup because because we can tell where Dawson is.
Well, first of all, everybody's very upset. So make sure you understand. We're not saying we're not doing them anymore. We're just not going to call them Sunday Drive, I guess. And we're not going to necessarily publish them or show them on Sundays.
And you got good questions too, by the way.
Doesn't mean that you can't still watch it on Sunday. We're definitely going to do them.
It's not going away.
Yeah, we're not. That's not going away. We're still doing the driving show.
Yeah.
It'll just be a different day, different time.
Yeah.
And
there'll be more of them actually because we're doing them every other week at this point. My intention is to do them every week.
Yeah, to get back to doing them weekly. But that does help with our quality of life a little bit. Sorry.
Larissa called them Fun Day Drives.
Who did?
Laura. Fun Day Drive.
Fun Day Drives. Very cute. Okay, so what were the questions you wanted me to go to?
So somebody asked about the reputation of Pulte.
Jessica.
Kim asked about pool company.
I already responded to Kim's. Okay. Kim, we did Pools by Bradley, and Jake Pickles was our pool designer. He also designed for quite a few of our clients that have reached out. And to my understanding, everyone's had a positive experience as well. The main thing, in my opinion, is to have a good company. And to have an excellent designer.
Yeah, if you go to Pools by Bradley, get Jake. They have a couple designers. They're all fine. They're all good. But yep. Jake's an artist.
Okay, so Jessica, what is the local reputation of Pulte glasses? Put them on, Amy, and then you can read what you're doing here. What is the local reputation of Pulte Homes and or their subsidiary Del Webb? So again, I don't work for, represent the builder, but I always talk in stories because that is the way I feel like I can be the most helpful, actual real life stories. I have always found Pulte to be great to work with. They like realtors and they are happy if you have realtor representation. So they are not like some of the builders where they push back or do everything they can to have you as the buyer or the customer to not have a representation to have a realtor. So they're very good and cooperative with realtors. Again, I'm not stating that you can just throw somebody in at the last minute. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they are very open and they work very well with realtors, which helps the process for the buyer. I also say that my measure of a builder is how they recover when something goes wrong, because something always does. It can be small things. It can be really big, catastrophic things. But so far, I have had the builders, take care of the issues that have come up. Whether it's, was it Kim? Kim, it was your bathroom, wasn't it? Wasn't it Kim's bathroom? Was it Kim's bathroom shower at Serenole Lakes?
Yes.
Yeah. So when things go wrong, first of all, I still am going to hold true to the fact that I am going to hope and pray that people don't do things wrong or install things that are wrong or to do crappy work intentionally. But does it happen that a style number or a box gets mixed up and that they start to install the wrong backsplash or the wrong shower tile? Yeah, that stuff happens. They paint the house the wrong color. Yep, sometimes that happens. So, my measure of the builder is how they recover when something goes wrong. So in every case, if there has been a scenario where it was something that needed to be remedied, they've always been fantastic to work with. I feel like they stand by their product. And in relation to Del Webb, I like all of the Del Webb communities. I've sold in all of them. I won't say all of them. That's not true. I've sold out in the one in Davenport, obviously Oasis, Mineola, lots of different 55 plus communities. And as far as how they compare to some of those other 55 plus communities, I think they're fantastic. So I have nothing negative to say. I've had great experiences with them, and I've had a lot of experiences with them. So, so in my opinion, they've done things and gone above and beyond for some of my clients when it was a really sticky situation, and they came through every single time. So anyway, so hopefully that answered a little bit. Was there other questions that I didn't see? Go to cup. All right, I'm gonna go to my cup. God, this whole thing, I just need, what do you call them? Glasses. Contacts? Shut up. Contacts. Jerk. Okay, go. Okay, so cup runneth over, right? So we had a very full cup. So it took us 2.5 years, exactly 2.5 years, for me to make a decision for myself for the day, and for Eric, but he was also working, so we had to work some, and then he was going to join me. But I said, I am going to fire up my Kindle, download a book, and I'm going to go sit by the pool and enjoy the sun and enjoy the water. And I might even pop in on the float. And so I did that over the weekend. And it was glorious. And I have to remind you, getting some sun and vitamin D does a lot for you. And I'm not even kidding. As a kid who grew up in Virginia Beach and lived at the beach, whether it was Bay Lake Beach there on the Chesapeake Bay, or whether it was the, Virginia Beach there on the Atlantic Ocean, that was a part of my life, being outside all the time in the sun, swimming in the pool or in the ocean or in the bay, and being able to get outside and just kind of sit there and soak it up and know that I wasn't missing anything. Like, my phone was there. If there was anything that needed me, it was there. But I didn't have any outside appointments for the day. It was glorious.
And I know that sounds weird.
It does sound weird.
I know it sounds weird that it's been 2.5 years before you, she texted the family and said, I think I'm just going to sit by the pool today. And it literally has not happened. Mm-mm. And I literally cried. I saw her out floating in the thing, and I stood here, and I was just so happy that you finally had the opportunity. Now, we talk about the market and all things, maybe things slowing down a little bit. It's like, okay, good, because let's take advantage. You had a day that you could actually do that. Yeah. That was amazing. Couldn't get you to have a Bahama Mama, no, or I offered, but other than that, you had, I think, a great day. So, and then the other picture, I don't know if I gave you a screen. I'll come over and push the button so you can bring it up and tell us where Dawson was.
Oh, yeah. So, see if he can do that. I guess you'll have to find it where Dawson was.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. So, so I did. And in answer to Deb's question about, do all the dogs like the pool? Do they swim or just hang out on the sun shelf? So Penny jumps in. You throw the ball, Penny jumps in, and she swims around. Daisy loves right where she is. That's a bubbler right there. She literally sticks her head in. She sits on it. She loves the sun shelf with the bubbler. Maggie takes laps. She runs around. She climbs up over the waterfall and just laps around the pool. She won't jump in on her own, but if we put her in, she'll swim. But yeah, we have dogs that love the water. But because I was just sitting out there laying down and I wasn't in there, they tended to kind of just hang out with me. But the bottom pictures. So over the course of the weekend too, which is partly why I had the day, was because it was my son's birthday, Dawson's birthday. He turned 19. So I had that day kind of marked on my calendar to make sure I didn't really have any outside appointments. But then he decided he was going to go hang out with some friends. He had quite a journey. He flew to Virginia, and then they drove to Delaware, and then they drove to New Jersey and stayed at a friend's house. We're in New Jersey at the Jersey Shore. There's a couple pictures of him at the bottom. They were at the beach having some fun. And now he's at the airport getting ready to fly back. So so that's where he was. We're so happy. He was so happy. He sent a message yesterday because I was like, well, did you have a good birthday? And He's like, yeah, he goes, I really needed that. He goes, I love my friends. I had some great friends. And
Fact check, true. He needed that.
He did need that. He very much so. So we're happy. I mean, I was bummed I didn't get to see him on his 19th birthday, but honestly, if he was here, he would have just been in his room anyway. So much rather that he be recharging himself and nourishing his body and soul with some vitamin D and some good friends and friendship and some fun. So anyway, on that note, let us scooch back. What's the next thing we got, babe? Is that it?
You can do what you're watching.
Oh yeah, we also have Word. But we'll just
skip Word.
No, it's a good one. All right. Okay, so yes. I know. I'm not really late to the party. I was on time for the party when Sweet Magnolias first came out. So I had already watched season 1, and something happened, I guess, when season 2 came out, and I don't know. I just wasn't as, I don't know what was happening in my life that I didn't just pick it up and like be so motivated to watch season 2. And now season 3, and I was like, well, you know what? Let me just go back. So that's actually what I'm watching. I watched a couple of quick movies. I watched the Simone Biles, was it Rise Up? Is that what her thing was? The Simone Biles, documentary. That was amazing. Celine Dion, yes, I did. I watched Celine Dion the other day. Usually, like I said, that's what I do in the early morning. I get up, I have my cup of coffee, and I try to keep the dogs away from Eric so he can keep sleeping. So I usually go up to the media room and turn on something, and we kind of lay up there. I have my coffee and watch something. So yeah, I watched a couple little movies, little documentaries, but back onto Sweet Magnolias. I'm rewatching season 1. I'm only on episode 3, so this is a kind of new one for me. So I'll zoom through them, but definitely love that one. I'm sure a lot of you have watched it and love it too. But okay, so let's see. There was another one. I thought I saw a question here.
You do the word if you want. I'll look for the question.
Yeah, you look for questions and I'll do Word.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Okay, so our word for the day is feedback. So this really could be part of next week's conversation, since we're going to hold off on some of the NAR chaos. This is also part of the chaos. So feedback. So when we say feedback, obviously you know what feedback is, right? Does somebody come and see your home, or did you go see someone's home? What is the feedback? What'd you think? Did you like it? Do you think it's on your short list? Did you not like it? Why did you not like it? Things like that. So when you have a listing, you want that feedback from the buyer's agents that are out there, and they are automatically prompted through the MLS. So if you list homes out there, if your home is on the market, understand you are a buyer. When a realtor comes and shows the property, they've requested it through the showing time application through the MLS. They are automatically sent feedback requests multiple times. Sometimes, we'll text each other, realtor to realtor. We'll say, hey, what did your clients think? And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they fill out the feedback request, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we just can't get it. But here's the problem. This is what's happened again. So now we have an issue where realtors are like, I'm not giving feedback on anything anymore because a realtor got sued.
Right?
Yes. A realtor got sued. And I don't know if I have all the facts of this straight, but I'm going to just summarize.
I can help if you need help.
Okay, you can chime in. So she submitted feedback about the home. She showed the property with her clients. She received a feedback request from the listing agent. So she answers those questions. Yes, they liked the home. They thought it was priced too high, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then these buyers decide to submit an offer on the home. And I don't know, this is where to my understanding, they didn't negotiate back with them because the feedback had been that they thought the house was...
I think ultimately they did get the house.
They did.
But it was a very contentious negotiation.
Yes.
The sellers said, we're not paying for inspection things. Again, I don't know the exact details, but the sellers were basically like, we're not gonna do, because we're mad because you said we priced the house too high. And so the buyers sued their agent for creating a hostile negotiation. Well, so we hear that and we're like, well, then I guess we can't give any feedback. But feedback is so important.
It is important for both the buyer and the seller.
Yeah.
And the realtors, by the way. It's absolutely important because you want to, first of all, you want to be able to report back to your client. If I'm the listing agent and I have clients out there waiting patiently for a showing request. They step out of the house. The showing happens. Well, they want to know, well, did they like it? What they think? Like, did they like our house? Is it going to work? Are they going to submit an offer? Like, what did they think? I don't know what they think unless that buyer's agent gives me some feedback. And she's giving feedback based on her experience with her clients, her buyers, or his buyers. Anyway, so now we have another problem where it's like, do we have to sue each other over every little thing and create bigger problems that don't really need to exist? And I guess the answer is yes, because we've been doing it forever, but they sure are making it difficult. So on that note, yeah, there's going to be realtors out there. I mean, there are some heavy hitters across the country, not just like here, that are like, I'm done. I've given my last feedback for any house that I show because I'm not willing to put myself in that position, because the buyers, I guess in that case, they said they didn't give their agent permission to give that feedback. And I'm like, but they're your agent. They're representing you, and they gave it truthfully. Anyway, absolute mess.
Two last things for me about feedback. And then just as a producer's note, be looking for Miss Arlene's comment about feedback about Sunday Drive, and then be looking for Tracy D's. I think Tracy D's comment about recharging cell phone batteries is a great way to end the show. But I'll give you two things about feedback while you look that up. Number one, we mentioned sometimes I do customer service training. That's where, like, when you have your thing on August 7th, I'm flying to Iowa to do some customer service training. One of the great phrases that I really like, I think it comes from the book Crucial Conversations, but instead of criticizing someone or saying, I think you're doing this wrong, a great phrase to use is, are you open to some feedback? It's a great way to start, because if they go no, then you can say, okay, cool. If they say yes, then they've kind of asked for it. Number two, you guys know I get things in my head. So Flight of the Conchords, the song Rhinoceros, be more constructive with your feedback, is now stuck in my head for the rest of the day. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I know.
Miss Arlene, she said about the Sunday Drive. She goes, wow, I almost passed out because I thought y'all was stopping the drive videos. Thanks for not stopping them. Let's just call them The Ride with Amy and Eric, plain and simple. Is that the one you wanted me to go?
Yeah.
Or just call it The Drive.
People like the Sunday Drive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eric doesn't remember this. Part of the Sunday Drive was that as a child, I went on Sunday drives.
Yes.
And that's how it started.
Right.
So as the producer,
Then you can edit them.
No. I'm saying that the Sunday part of it came from a place of authenticity. And then Tracy says, we charge our cell phone batteries with conviction. We need to do the same for our internal batteries.
A to the men.
Absolutely.
Tracy. I just thought
she's
so wisely
sweet.
spoken.
Yes, so absolutely.
Good advice.
So sweet.
Let's take it today.
We should take that today. But yeah, no, that you're exactly right. And we try, it's just not easy. And I guess there will be a day. But yes, we absolutely know the importance of that. And Eric, what is your I always try to say, and I say the story wrong, but the one about the saw.
Oh, that's another famous training thing, and it's
really good though. So share it with everyone.
I want to say it's Zig Ziglar, but I don't actually remember who. It's one of the famous trainers. But the story goes, there's a man who was out, and every year he heated his home with wood. So he had two sons, and they went outside, and he said, "Please go. I need you to go cut me 3 cords of wood." So they go out and they cut the first cord of wood, and it takes them an hour to cut the first cord of wood. Then they say, hey, let's keep going. And they go and they do the second cord of wood, and it takes them 2 hours to cut the second cord of wood. And the father comes out and says, how's it going? They said, well, we really slowed down. It's like it took us an hour to do the first one. It took us twice as long to do the second one. So it's probably going to take us 4 hours to do the next one. And he stops them and says, let me show you something. And he goes over and he sharpens the saw. And he says, you're cutting with a dull saw, so you're not doing as good a job and it's taking you twice as long. Take 5 minutes and sharpen the saw, and you'll cut the third cord of wood in an hour, which is what they did. And the lesson, of course, is take a moment to sharpen the saw. And actually, slowing down actually helps you go faster and do better.
Yep. So with that,
Not my story, by the way. That, like I said, Zig Ziglar or someone
no,
else.
but it's a good one, and those of you that know me, especially if you've had one of those videos that I send you for like the Home Pulse or something, I am a very visual learner. I love stories. That's how I can remember and retain things, and graphics or anything that's visual. And so things like that make a lot more sense to me than trying to look at a calendar and be more analytical about do this, and take this day off. It's like, well, that doesn't really work. So, but to tell me, you know what, if you slow down for just a second, give yourself a day. You're entitled to a day. Considering we don't ever get a day off, we don't get consistent weekends off, we don't have a consistent Tuesday, Wednesday off. There's never an off day. So to take one and not feel guilty about it, I think is okay. By the way, I was still working because I still had to look at my phone. I still had to double check if they were showing requests, but it was definitely a glorious day to sit out by the pool and just enjoy. Honestly, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. And I really did. I thought to myself, it took me 2.5 years to get here. 2.5 years in this house. I mean, 2.5 years to finally say, you know what, I'm just going to go sit by the pool today. So anyway, with that, I don't know that we have anything else on our show that's show worthy, but it is 10:11. We got to go, guys.
Yeah.
You got a day to do. We got to go son to pick up at the airport.
Flippity flip.
A flippity flip. Anyway, who said that Nazi used to be the word of the day? Was it Deb? Yeah, Deb said
Might be next week.
Flippity flip.
It'll definitely be a sound effect that I add.
Oh my gosh. It's in the dictionarium of, it's Amy's dictionarium of wordology.
Yes.
Anyway, all right, guys. So with that, next week, we hope we're going to be at Schmetzer's Pub over at one of our listings to do our coffee time live there. Thank you for bearing with us. Again, life happens and technical issues happen. So we're just back here. Do you see Molly, by the way? Do y'all see Molly over there?
Yeah, they mentioned she.
Did she? I didn't see. She photobombed. Anyway, that's what she does. It's okay. All right, guys. So as always, where's my wrap up? Here we are. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys being so supportive of our family and our children and their successes and endeavors. You guys are a treasured part of our Monday mornings. And no matter what we call the Sunday drive, we're still out there. We're still driving around. It'll still be happening. And if we ever have to switch Monday coffee time, we'll just tell you when it is. Yeah. And, you'll just join us on a different day, different time. Anyway, other than that, we'll see you next Monday, though, at 9 o'clock. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Does it end?
I don't know what's going to happen.
He never gives me the button. See, I'm pushing the button and it doesn't work.